Everything that I was hoping to be able to present in 5 minutes. Actually, impossible. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sam Ettaro, new to Borough Council. I need to preface that I'm not here representing Borough Council. In fact, they do not endorse where I'm coming from with this at all, so let's make real clear about that. We'll start out. I come to you tonight as a concerned citizen regarding the drive to allow Sunnyside Ethanol to set up shop directly adjacent to the school. I do so now because it's what I promised to do when I asked for the trust of the public by soliciting their vote for Curwensville Borough Council. All of the communities that this school serves and even beyond have an enormous stake in this project, and I believe based on 7 months of research and dealing with the public in this and asking some hard questions, that the public has not been presented with a comprehensive information, meaning they've mostly been presented with the alleged positives of the ethanol facility. Very little has been got out into the public as to the very real possible harms of this facility. Now, I understand that 2 years ago the board had met with representatives of Sunnyside Ethanol. You listened to a 2-hour presentation for the folks and asked them questions, and you felt at the end of that your concerns were alleviated enough to drop any sort of public opposition to the process, feeling that maybe perhaps the state agency had sufficiently involved in DEP had sufficiently addressed your concerns with health and safety and whatnot. I want to make clear that while I am definitely an outspoken person and I'm very direct in my approach, I don't claim to be an ethanol expert. I don't claim to be somehow or another above other people that may or may not be well aware of the issue. I simply am a guy who is concerned about the health of my family and this community, and somebody that's bothered to ask some really hard questions and dug in. And that's where I'm coming from. I'm trying to get information out to the community that I have found and have found it darn near impossible to do so. So I'm using my position as Borough Council to hopefully open up a public dialogue onto this. Mostly in seeing such an injustice that's been done with the presentation of the information to the public and the miss or lack of information I've found, I'm certainly not afraid to come here tonight, ask questions in other public forums as well, and to expect legitimate answers from our public leadership in regards to what I'm looking for. I come here not in trying to set up a confrontation. I am indeed actually representing other people who, for many reasons, have just decided that they don't want to be confrontational, they don't want to ask questions, but they're saying, yeah, Sam, you're onto something, please move forward with this. So I'm here tonight with my lovely wife and my daughter, and no other real support, but that's okay, and we'll see where it goes from there. The ethanol plant is going to greatly affect our daily living, something you folks certainly know. The choices our folks come to, the choices of folks to come and stay and live in Curwensville, and their decisions to possibly leave because they feel that their children are unsafe at the school that has a great educational reputation, by the way. This was a plus when we moved here several years ago. You know what, I'm trying to read something here and cram this all into 5 minutes, and it really is probably not going to happen. So I'm just going to speak bluntly and not go by the script here. Here's what I know. I know I was not privy to your meeting. I wasn't here. I'm not going to pretend that I did. But I do know in my analysis of the public presentation, as I said, in the newspaper, in online news sources, and in the public meetings that I have gone to, that we can unequivocally say that the public presentation and the opportunity to ask questions and answer questions has primarily been presented by those that want to put the plant in here, i.e. Sunnyside. Of course, we want to go to them, we want to get their take on this, but as a community, we got to be honest with ourselves. We have not been presented with the alternate side. And there is a dark and alternate side to this, and I caution everybody to please, to listen to what is going to be happening over these next couple weeks as I try to bring this out into the public. Look at it as with an open mind, non-defensiveness. I understand it's a contentious issue. But as a case in point, just to illustrate something that I have found, I'm going to give along some spreadsheets here for you. This is a spreadsheet which illustrates... Oh, you all have that? Great, great. Here's the spreadsheet about the tanks that we know that came from the DEP permit that are going to be stored here. The spreadsheet illustrating the pollution numbers, the simple, base, common sense question, are our children 6 times less important than the kids in Clearfield? Why are we settling for this as a community? The numbers in dioxins, for instance, dioxin, we know, and I got this straight from DEP. DEP knows that this is part of the process. Are we all educated and aware as to how this process and where these numbers came from? These are not health-based numbers. These are based on what's called best available technology. Can the plant afford to buy the technology that's going to clean it up as best possible? Their health-based concerns are filtered out through the process by the EPA. EPA applies national ambient air quality standards across the board. Dioxins, for instance, as well as many of the pollutants that are on that sheet, are not even considered by EPA. There are no sort of screening and prerequisite on a national level. So by law, DEP does not have to address health concerns on those issues. So when somebody tells you, well, the DEP says those numbers are safe, so it's safe, that's not what those numbers mean. That is not what those numbers mean. And I got it from a 3.5-hour long conversation and a videotaped presentation by DEP itself. My point being, this is what you do not hear in the press. This is what you do not hear at the public meetings. And I'm coming to you tonight as a dad that cares about his little girl, that is proud of this community and proud of the work that you folks have done in this school. You know, we don't allow smoking in here. I'm asking you to please be open-minded, come to the meetings that I'm going to push Borough Council to bring about, and let's compare apples to oranges, or apples to apples if we're going to do so. Look at what it is we're getting and really aggressively ask these hard questions. I found out they haven't even bought that land there, folks. We have an opportunity to, number one, if you don't want it, you got an opportunity now to say so and keep it out. If you think it might be doable, we have an opportunity to put some pressure on this plant to clean up their actions. This pollution is unacceptable, and that's it. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Keep your eyes open and we'll see where it goes from here. Okay? Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Motion for adjournment. Mr. Benson, for me. Second. Second, Mr. Lucy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Pretty much overtake things.